Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're back in the Mazda MX-5 for a track guide, this time at Rudskogen. For those who are new here, I show a fast lap first and then go through my guided lap, explaining all of my references to help you go faster. If you are only interested in the guided lap, I'll leave timestamps in the description so you can skip to the specific part you want. Let's get into it. These were the session settings in the UI, and the track conditions are shown here. Feel free to pause the video to see a specific setting. Let's get into it. But before we start, I'd really appreciate it if you all subscribe to my channel and like the video. Thank you! So this is the uninterrupted Hotlap. You want to be over on the right hand side looking for the start of the curb on the right here. The track limits are very strict on turn 1, you can very easily get a slowdown if you cut too much, so just be careful. And then coming up to turn 3 and 4, these are definitely the two most difficult corners on the track and very difficult to get right on cold tyres, so be careful in the first few laps of the race. Those are the two main places I see people making mistakes, so I'll now leave you the rest of the lap. So, turn 1 is the main overtaking opportunity on the track. If you prepare the exit of the final corner well, you can get a good run using the slipstream. The inside is usually better here, so if you're defending, make sure you take it early. I brake at the start of the curb on the right and use second gear. I get 80% brake pressure and you get a slowdown if all 4 wheels go over the white line here. I get straight back on throttle after the curb and then brake slightly to get the car rotated into turn 2. You can cut some of the curb on the right but not too much, as again you'll get a slowdown if all 4 wheels pass the curb. I get back on throttle just after the grass starts on the right and I keep the car to the right as long as possible before allowing the car to track out to the outside to get a good run into the straight. Here I brake just before the 50 board and use third gear for the first part of the corner. It's very difficult to keep the car stable through here, so I end up balancing the throttle and brake to keep the car pointing in the right direction. I brake to 50% initially and then trail brake slightly, hitting the first apex, then allowing the car back out to around the middle of the track. Then go back to 50% brakes and go down to second gear for extra rotation. Use all of the inside curb on the right and gradually come back on throttle to keep the car stable going over the crest. And then I also keep the car to the right of the track to prepare for this next chicane here. Here I turn in at the start of the curb on the right and keep the car in second gear. I initially stay flat out, cutting all of the curb on the left and the right. I lift towards the end of the first curb and then completely for the second turn to get the car to rotate in. You can definitely take the second apex a lot better than I do here. I carry too much speed which compromises my line into the next sequence. You want to be much further to the right, which gives you a more favourable entry into the next turn. Here I brake at the white line. I brake to around 50% brake pressure and you can cut some of the curb on the left. You want to keep your right set of wheels past the red and white part of the curb, otherwise you'll get a slowdown. I treat these two corners like a double apex, going very wide in the mid corner, shifting down to first very late to keep the car stable, and then getting back on throttle when I get back to the inside curb to get a good exit. For the hairpin you can use all of the curb on the left to open up the corner. I brake at the 50 board and use first gear. I use 80% brake pressure and get off the brakes very quickly to induce understeer. you troll brake normally here, the car will become loose on the exit. You can use all of the inside curb here and then get back on throttle gradually as the car can spin on the exit, especially on cold tyres. For this left-hander, I brake when the blue board on the right leaves the screen. Just quickly on and off the brakes to get the car to turn in. I keep the car in second gear and cut a lot of the inside curb. You get a slowdown if you touch the grass on the inside, and then get back on throttle at the curb, and you get a 1x if you go on the grass on the exit. This next left-hander's flat. I turn in just before the end of the curb and cut a lot of the inside curb. The exit of this corner becomes the entry to the final corner, so make sure the car is stable here. There aren't many good braking references for this final corner. If you have a good one, please leave it in the comments. I brake around the car's length after the curb from the previous corner. I brake to 60% pressure and then troll brake slightly. I use second gear and cut the first part of the curb here. This is another double apex. I allow the car out to the middle of the track and then using 10 to 15% brake pressure to rotate the car back into the second apex. I get back on throttle once the car starts rotating towards the second apex. The track limit on the exit is the red and white curb here. So that was a lap of Rudskogen. As always in this car, the cold tyres are a nightmare. For this track, the danger is turns 3 and 4. It's very easy to lose the car here even on warm tyres, so be extra careful in the first few laps of the race. The track limits and slowdowns here definitely take time to get used to. You can use the rules tab to see a full set of track limits and explanations, so be sure to use it if there is a certain corner you are struggling with. You can find this on the initial screen when you load into a session, next to the info tab. If you found this guide helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. You can also now become a channel member if you so wish, and I'll leave you the third person lap to the end of the video.